Welcome to Chicago, Illinois, where a glorious spring afternoon has evolved into a marvelous spring evening, and we're out on Madison Street a couple of miles from the Loop. 24,000 lucky fans with tickets to this one have gathered for Game 2 in the Eastern Conference Finals, a game that matches up the Chicago Bulls and the Orlando Magic. The 434th consecutive sellout of a Bulls game, and we're lucky enough to be here among those who will witness it. Good evening once again, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist, and welcome to Chicago. No professional athlete wants to hear the words humiliation and embarrassment, but that's all the Orlando Magic has heard since their 38-point thumping here on Sunday. Yet, if they can win tonight, if only by 1 point, they can go back home with the series tied and find that fans do forget in a hurry. I'm joined, as always, by Danny Ainge. Significant injury, Danny. Horace Grant will not play. John Koncak will start for the Magic.
Well, yes, John Koncak's certainly not going to give him the offense that Horace has been giving this Magic team in the playoffs. Koncak, they might double off of on Shaq and Penny down in the low post. He's got to find a way to make himself available at the rim by diving hard to the basket, set picks for the shooters, try to get them involved in the offense. But on defense, Shaq is going to be the one defending Rodman. It's a tough assignment for Shaq, but it's an assignment Shaq is looking forward to.
There are any number of things we can look back in Game 1 and say, are you kidding me? But how about Horace Grant, Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott, 0 for 11 from the field, 2 points among the three. Now, Grant's out. How do they get Scott and Anderson more involved offensively?
Well, Vern, that's a significant difference. Those two guys, Scott and Anderson, were averaging 32 points during the regular season between them. That's like holding Michael Jordan to 2 points. Scott needs to be involved in the offense. He's the standout spot-up shooter from the perimeter. They need to get more movement. They're going to have him defending Scottie Pippen at the other end of the court to try to get him more involved in the offense. He says he's going to be, wants to be a complete player. Tonight's his chance to prove that. But we see when the ball goes into the low post, into Shaq, we see Orlando has 1, 2, 3, 4 players, and the fourth guy, Horace, on the baseline holding his knees, tired, standing around watching Shaq play one-on-one. They got to get more involved in the offense on the perimeter. And Nick Anderson, you know, he's so much of his mind and thoughts are going into stopping Michael Jordan. He's got to be more of a factor offensively. He can shoot the three, take it to the hole, post up. He needs to be more aggressive at the offensive end.
Magic coach Brian Hill will make one other significant defensive adjustment. He's going to put Penny Hardaway on Ron Harper tonight. But Brian Hill knows that above all else, it's a matter of rebounding.
It's hard work to get on the offensive boards every time the shot goes up. It's hard work to box your guy out and to rebound the ball defensively or go after a rebound aggressively. And that's an area that we just have to pick up, and we have to match Chicago's intensity level. They beat us to all the loose balls, all the long rebounds, and we have to change that part of the game.
Coming up next, our beloved Bulls take on the Orlando Magic here on TNT.
Frank Sinatra named the Toddle in Town. We're here for Game 2 of the NBA playoffs, and we are joined by Craig Sager.
When Michael Jordan retired from the Bulls, they raised his jersey to the rafters and deified his likeness in granite with the inscription, "The best there ever was, the best there ever will be." When he returned, he threatened the legend and set him up for disappointment. But Jordan was determined to be like the Mike of old. And this year, by topping the league in scoring and leading the Bulls to the best record in history, the statue has come alive. In the process, the Bulls have garnered the hardware. Yesterday, the MVP ballots were tabulated, and tonight, the trophy is presented. Bulls public address announcer, Ray Clay.
Please direct your attention to center court, where the Chicago Bulls are pleased to introduce NBA Commissioner David Stern for a special presentation.
Michael, welcome back. You still set the standard for greatness, determination, and leadership. Congratulations, 1995-96 NBA Most Valuable Player.
He was the most valuable player of the All-Star game, the most valuable player of the season, and he's determined to be the most valuable player of the finals. Game 2 against Orlando tonight.
These days, more in finals. Chicago leading it 1-0. And let's check the matchups for tonight. Concac and Rodman, Scott and Pippen, O'Neal, Longley, Anderson and Michael Jordan, and Penny Hardaway and Ron Harper. Our officiating crew tonight, Joe Crawford, Ed Middleton, and Bill Oakes. John Concac, who has averaged only 8 minutes in the playoffs thus far, expected to play 24 to 30 tonight. And it'll be O'Neal and Longley at center. Anderson controls for Orlando and puts it in the hands of Penny Hardaway, and he's picked up by Scottie Pippen.
You can see, Vern, they're starting off right with some pick down, some motion offense, trying to get Dennis Scott and Nick Anderson involved in the offense.
And they did immediately. Scott comes off the screen, then drives, something he doesn't do a lot of, and gets the first basket of the game. So already things are looking up for Orlando.
Right, they're already ahead of where they were in game 1. But right there, that's a matchup we got to worry about. Dennis Scott, not a great defensive player, matched up with Scottie Pippen at the other end.
Here's Penny Hardaway. O'Neal sets the screen. Harper guarding Hardaway. Jordan has Nick Anderson. He fights the position. Does the fadeaway. Too strong. Longley gets position and puts it in the hands of Scottie Pippen.
Well, we see two guys ready to score tonight. Very embarrassed by game 1 performance. But there we have it again. Scottie Pippen going right by Dennis Scott. Dish on for Dennis Rodman for the easy 2. That's going to be a problem all night long. They've got to be aware of Dennis Scott and Scottie Pippen and help out.
Brian Hill told us this morning. At the other end, here's O'Neal, who is fouled by Longley.
Well, right here, they're looking for Dennis Scott coming off the picks. He sees Ron Harper cheat over the pick, does the right thing going into the basket. But here at the other end, Scottie Pippen goes right around. Shaq comes over to help out Rodman for the easy lay-in.
O'Neal at the free throw line. He was 1 of 7 here on Sunday, and things have really gone sour for him at the line. He is now 15 of 53 in the last 4 games and a couple of minutes.
And it's really important for Shaq to continue trying to draw fouls. They say they have the four-headed monster at center, Eeny, Meeny, Miny, and Mo, but they have got to be aggressive. Luke Longley is the best of all those guys, and getting him in foul trouble could be big for Shaq.
Well, Eeny has drawn the first foul, and O'Neal gets the rebound. At the other end, Nick Anderson for 3. Longley with a rebound. Michael Jordan, who had only 21 and served more as an orchestrator in game 1. Here's Longley, looks underneath, finds Pippen, who's posting up. O'Neal with a double team that leaves Rodman open.
That's terrible defense by Orlando. Rodman's the guy you want to leave open, but you can't give up the dunk. Rodman's like Shaq, not a good free throw shooter, at least fouling and making shoot free throws.
Rodman had 13 to go with his 21 rebounds on Sunday. O'Neal, Longley puts a body on him. Now Pippen comes to help. Foul on Longley, that's 2.
That's important for Shaq. Shaq has got to find a way to dominate in the low post. Right here, we got Pippen posted up. Shaq does the right thing, going in double team. Concac has got to get over. Penny's got to get down and help. They got to rotate better on defense. Dennis is too smart of an offensive player to just leave him wide open.
Longley plays O'Neal straight up, has problems with the ball in the paint, misses the shot. Here comes Chicago. Scottie Pippen. He's had shooting problems in the last 5 games. Here's Harper, but he's helped out in so many other ways.
Oh, Scottie Pippen, such a great player, great defensive player, sets him up in your offense, and Vern, he's increased his rebounding from 6 to 9 in the playoffs.
Michael Jordan with the 3. And at the 9:15 mark, it's a 7-3 Chicago lead. And Scottie Pippen already with 3 assists. Now Harper guards Scott. Plays him way out. Rodman on O'Neal. And Shaq gets the basket and draws the foul.
And we see the switch in the matchup right away. Longley with 2 quick fouls. Rodman, who did a great job on Shaq in game 1. But Shaq not very happy with his performance in game 1. Doesn't feel like Dennis is strong enough or weighs enough to defend him in the low post. Has to continue to attack and dominate that low post position.
Shaquille is 2 of 3 from the free throw line. That augurs well for Orlando. And a 1-point game.
We'll see how much stamina Shaq has because they keep fresh bodies on him. He's got to keep going. He's got to try to force sometime in this series Chicago to start double teaming him.
Jordan cutting. O'Neal gets the rebound, gives it up to Nick Anderson. And a chance for Orlando to regain the lead now. Here's Dennis Scott for 3.
Oh, and a very important right there. That's one reason why Dennis Scott is guarding Scottie Pippen right now, because in transition, Ron Harper has been defending Dennis Scott. Because they're cross-match, it's a lot more difficult finding him in transition. That time was a perfect indication.
Scott over 3, has hit 2 shots already. Here's the tip. Longley can't control. Koncak has it. Hardaway leaves it for Dennis Scott. Harper picks him up. Scott finds O'Neal. Jordan tries to take it away, and O'Neal gets the basket.
Good play by Dennis Scott right there. Didn't get the basket, but his aggressiveness at offensive end, backing Ron Harper down, made him get the open shot and the open dunk for Shaq.
Rodman misses on the jumper. Harper gets the rebound. It's short. And at the other end, Koncak threw it right to Rodman. Scottie Pippen.
Right now, you just cannot make that kind of outlet pass. Koncak does a great job. I don't know who he was passing that long outlet pass to.
Here's Hardaway off the screen. That's for 3. Nope. Rodman with the rebound. That's his first board. Michael Jordan picked up by Nick Anderson. Pippen in the low post. Scott. Longley's open. Koncak and Pippen with the putback is up. He's fouled.
And there's Scottie Pippen again, Vern. He is averaging 4 offensive rebounds in the playoffs. Right here, John Koncak does a good job. I don't know. He can't throw a chest pass 94 feet. Comes up a lot short right in Rodman's hand. Gives the easy basket right back to Pippen.
Nick Anderson with the foul, his first. Scottie Pippen at the free throw line.
It's like that old reverse tackle pass again. You got to give the ball to the guards and let them throw the ball up the court, unless you can make that pass.
A 1-point game with 7:13 to go opening quarter. In that Sunday debacle for Orlando, of course, they fell behind 10-zip at the outset. Here's Anderson.
Beautiful execution by Orlando. They're playing very aggressive offense. Everybody's getting involved. Chicago went to the trap. Orlando did the right thing and attacked it. Took the first available shot.
Orlando 5 of 9 from the field early on. Here's Jordan. Drives the baseline and is fouled by Koncak.
Right idea by Koncak. Just didn't get over to seal that baseline off quick enough.
3-point Orlando lead.
Pippen is being defended by Dennis Scott, and one reason was to create mismatches at the other end, particularly in transition. We see right here, Scottie Pippen thinks he's guarding Penny Hardaway, who's all the way over here, but Ron Harper has picked up Penny right there. Nobody sees Scott over here on the weak side, wide open, except Penny Hardaway. A little bit of confusion. That's what Brian Hill was trying to get by making the cross matchup, and that time the strategy paid off.
Dennis Scott with 5 points in the early going, and another statistic that just roared at all of us was the rebounding edge on Sunday, 62-28 for Chicago. Well, it's a 6-5 edge for Chicago in the early going. Here's Jordan. Over Anderson.
Oh, beautiful shot. What great defense by Anderson. Right in Jordan's face. I don't know if I saw a snake bite. He was close. He had his hand up to the ball in his face. Michael just made a beautiful shot.
For those of you who have not. Oh, here's Jordan with a steal. Pippen on the right side. Jordan takes it all the way and is short with the layup. Anderson shots it down, but is on the line. For those of you who weren't with us a couple of weeks ago, we had a seminar on snake bites.
Yes. Right here, though, Penny just makes a careless pass. Doesn't see Michael going over the top on the pick. Goes to the fast break basket, but great defense coming back. Dennis Rodman, great hustle on Jordan's missed layup, keeping the ball alive for the Bulls.
In the 9 playoff games they played thus far, Chicago has forced 20 turnovers per game. Orlando with 2 tonight. O'Neal, no. Rodman was there, just distracted him. Here's Pippen at the other end. Goes by contact, Rodman over the top. Loose ball foul, Dennis Rodman is second.
Well, Dennis just kept the ball alive the time before. Great hustle by Dennis. Unfortunately, just bumped into Koncak's back. But right here, you know, Dennis Scott does a pretty good job on Pippen. He's got a lot bigger body, can do a much better job than Penny Hardaway down in the low post on Pippen. Good defensive strip right there.
Bill Jackson's going to his bench. Tony Kukoc and Bill Wennington replace Rodman and Longley. Rodman leaves with 4 points and 1 rebound.
And Brian Hill's going to counter and get Brian Shaw in for Koncak. They don't want the Twin Towers in the game when Chicago goes with the small lineup, because then they don't have anybody to defend Kukoc.
Tony Kukoc will pick up Nick Anderson, Brian Shaw, and Hardaway in the backcourt. Entry pass to O'Neal. Wennington puts a body on him, and Shaq over the top gets the basket.
Well, Shaq might have got fouled that time by Wennington. Wennington's a lot lighter than Luke Longley is, and Shaq should have an easy time and should be able to get to the rim against Wennington.
Kukoc, he's had shooting woes in the playoffs. Missed 3 of the New York series, of course, with a bad back. Here's Hardaway at the other end. He'll penetrate. Dandy.
Beautiful play by Penny Hardaway. You know, for Kukoc with a bad back, the hardest thing to do as a player with a bad black back is move your feet defensively. He's trying to defend Nick Anderson. A perfect opportunity for Anderson to take advantage of Kukoc.
Wennington with the pass goes awry underneath. It'll be Chicago's to throw in.
This is why Penny Hardaway, he's got the whole game. Right here, he just drives in over the big people. Beautiful touch off the glass. Great finish by Hardaway.
Kukoc to Pippen. Now Ron Harper gives it up. Wennington kicks it back to Michael Jordan for 3. Off the mark. Way off the mark.
There's Scottie Pippen on the glass again. Almost, he's the second leading offensive rebounder on the team. Only a few behind Dennis Rodman so far in the playoffs.
Pippen will throw it in. 5-point Orlando lead. Chicago shooting only 31%. They're 5 of 16. Illegal defense called against Orlando.
And the key, Vern, so far is keeping them from getting too many offensive boards. They've got a couple so far, kept the ball alive, but not as near as many as they had by dominating game 1.
Well, we keep going back. Rodman in that first game had 7 offensive boards to 6 as a team for Orlando.
Well, Orlando does a lot of standing around. They're playing a lot more Orlando Magic basketball tonight, much more active on offense.
Michael Jordan is fouled. Wants a goaltending call. Doesn't get it. Foul on Brian Shaw.
Well, right here, Shaq comes over to block the ball, gets a good clean block, grabbed the rim after he blocked the ball inadvertently. Good no call by the officials.
Michael was talking about his role in game 1 when he misses the free throw here. Everyone expected him to try and take over the game to redeem himself for the 4 games to 2 loss last year, and he really was more of an orchestra conductor.
Well, there's been a lot written about him orchestrating the offense, but Michael's one of those guys that does it when he has to, and they were never close. Their game was over early in the first half, and they won a 30-point win. Michael's smart enough to know when to turn it off.
O'Neal. Kukoc has Anderson. He comes down to double on Shaquille. They battle for the loose ball. It goes to Nick Anderson. He finds Brian Shaw for 3. Air ball. Off of Ron Harper. It'll be Orlando's to throw in.
Well, we can see 2 quick offensive rebounds by Orlando. But right here, when they go to the bench, when they go to Shaw, here comes the double. Shaq goes right in between Wennington, rushes the shot a little bit, just gets a piece of the dunk, misses it, but they kept the ball alive. Very active on the offensive boards, Orlando.
4:27 to go, opening quarter. Scott misses the 3. Wennington with a rebound. A 4-point Orlando lead. Shaw has Harper. Kukoc. Scott knocks it away. Here's Anderson at the other end. Nick Anderson, who grew up not far from here, played collegiately at Illinois.
What another good post defensive play by Dennis Scott. Not a great defender down there. Made 2 big defensive plays so far in the game. And a great finish by Nick Anderson, using his body in the rim to seal off Scottie Pippen.
Orlando by 6. Pippen for 3.
That's a big bonus for the Bulls. If Scottie or Kukoc can get hot, they haven't shot the ball well from the perimeter, but they still find ways to win. If those guys get hot from the outside, Vern, Orlando's in trouble.
Jordan fights through the screen and continues to guard Shaw. 10 on the shot clock with 3:23 to go in the opening quarter. Hardaway over Pippen. Nope. Ron Harper has it for Chicago. Offensive foul.
What another defensive player by Dennis Scott. I'm glad I didn't pick on him in the open about being in a Scott. No D. He's made 3 big defensive plays so far. Right here, Ron Harper, who thinks he can go right over. Dennis sacrifices his body. And right here, the time before, good post defense. Karl Malone type, strip him down low.
You sound a little surprised.
Yeah, his name is Ennis Scott in Orlando. He just opened a restaurant called 3D, and I thought he should have called it No D.
2:48 to go, opening quarter. Hardaway, jump hook, good.
Well, Penny scored on a double team. He had Nick Anderson wide open at the 3-point line, but he also had a wide open little 4-foot jump hook.
Kukoc with the scoop shot. Here comes Brian Shaw with a rebound. Nick Anderson alters the shot. Dennis Scott gets it back to Anderson. And Jordan brings it out.
I like the way Orlando's playing aggressive offense. You know, maybe some shots, some people might think they're ill-advised, but it's much better taking those than being hesitant. I like Nick Anderson, even though he's not shooting the ball well right now, being aggressive at the offensive end.
Hardaway again. We're nearing the 2-minute mark of the opening quarter. Over Wennington, and O'Neal is there to grab it and put it in.
I actually think that might have been a pass by Penny. Realized he was in the air, didn't have a good look, just threw it up over the other side to Shaft.
Shaquille has 10 points. Loose ball, Hardaway, Pippen control. Contact getting ready to come back on the floor. 5 on the shot clock. Pippen taken away by O'Neal. Hardaway dishes left side. Harper's there defensively. Saves it, call timeout.
Oh, big play by Harper right there. Stopping a 3-on-2 break with Penny, Hardaway, Shaquille O'Neal.
Time is called.
Get back on defense, miss or make.
And you've seen the evidence of that tonight.
Yeah, tonight they're missing some shots, but they're getting back to playing with a lot more intensity, a lot more of an attitude.
And the rebounding battle, Danny, thus far has been even. 11 for Chicago, 10 for Orlando. Of course, Rodman is on the bench. 1 rebound, 2 fouls.
And that's a great sign, Shaq did a good job of getting Longley and Rodman into foul trouble early.
O'Neal will get a rest with 10 points and 5 rebounds. Michael Jordan misfires on the shot. And here comes Orlando. They are up by 5 with 1:10 remaining in the opening quarter. Brian Shaw. Michael Jordan now 2 of 7 from the field. Hardaway posting up, guarded by Pippen.
Hardaway having a tough time getting the ball into the post against Pippen.
On the miss, Jordan with a rebound. Here's Ron Harper. Contact sets and denies him access. They get it into Pippen again. And it's saved by Harper. Here's Wennington with that little jumper that he's thrived on for 9 years in the NBA.
Well, that's one thing Wennington can do is shoot that 15-foot baseline jumper. Good, scrappy offense right there. Loose balls. Chicago comes up with more than their share.
Hardaway goes by right into Kukoc, and it's taken away by Ron Harper.
Another big defensive play by Harper. He makes so many of the little plays that have such an impact on the game. Great defense by Kukoc taking the charge, and Harper anticipating the cross-court pass.
Kukoc, he's 1 for 27 from 3-point range in the playoffs. Here's Wennington again. In and out. Pippen. Too late. Would not have counted. We have reached the end of one. And the Orlando Magic are leading by 3, 23-20. Finals, the Chicago Bulls against the Orlando Magic. Vern Lundquist, Danny Ainge, and Craig Sager with you tonight. And Chicago, by far, I would think, the best defensive team in the NBA this year, and they've proven that in the playoffs, Danny.
Well, and here we see a great example of it. Tony Kukoc, not known for his defense, does a great job of sealing Penny off baseline, and there's Ron Harper anticipating weak side. And here they go down to one of their best plays, Penny Hardaway. There's a lot of traffic around there with Jordan, Pippen, and Harper. He can't even get the ball in the post, has to step out, settle for the long-range three-point shot.
And as we open the second quarter, a couple of lineup changes. Steve Kerr is on for Chicago, and Anthony Bowie has come on the floor now for the Orlando Magic. Bowie guards Kerr. Kukoc, alley-oop. Punched away, out of bounds. That'll be Orlando's ball.
Well, Tony had Pippen open on the post. Waited, hesitated. By the time he threw it, it was too late.
Kukoc's shooting woes continued here Sunday afternoon, but my goodness, he was a force with his assists. He had 10 in the game. Illegal defense, that's the first called against Chicago, and a check-in with Craig Sager.
During the last time out, the training staff of the Orlando Magic stretched the legs of Penny Hardaway. He has had those sore hamstrings, and he came over to the bench and said they were bothering him. It's a precautionary thing that they've been doing throughout the series. We may want to keep an eye on it because he said it was very painful. Vern?
Okay, Craig, Hardaway gets a rest now. Here's Scott, entry pass to O'Neal. Wennington straight up. Kukoc comes to help late, but the shot is good.
And that's what Shaq has to need. He needs to be persistent. He needs to keep backing Wennington down. He can get anything he wants on Wennington down low if he's patient.
O'Neal, who had 27 in game one, has 12 now. Here's Jordan. Back to Pippen for three. Bowie comes at him. O'Neal with another rebound. He's got 6.
Right now we see Jackson, as soon as Brian Hill goes with Anthony Bowie, he's not a post-up type of player. Jackson counters and gets Steve Kerr in the lineup.
Technical foul on Tony Kukoc after the foul called by Joey Crawford.
Well, Tony's defending Scott down on the low post right here. Scott using that big body, trying to get position. Kukoc is allowed to hold his ground. Joey Crawford thought he was being a little bit too aggressive at the defensive end.
Scott shoots the technical.
Right here, Vern, Wennington just doesn't have the muscle, the weight, anything to defend Shaq. He can get whatever he wants down there. They have to continue to exploit that matchup. Right now, while Luke Long is on the bench in foul trouble.
Wennington guards Shaq. Jordan has Shaw. Here's the pick and roll. Dennis Scott, Kukoc, guards him. And they'll go to O'Neal.
He can score there. I still think he needs to take one more or 2 more dribbles, Bernie. Settle for the fadeaway shot. I think he can get a better look than that. Bill Wennington is satisfied with that type of shot all night long.
Largest lead of the game. Here's a foul called on Brian Shaw as Jordan penetrated. That's his second. Donald Royal is going to get a chance to play. He's not played much in the playoffs thus far.
And I love Donald Royal, a very active, enthusiastic, energetic player. Comes in, rebounds the ball, plays good D, but he's not an outside shooter. He's a slasher, loves going to the free throw line. He's a guy that when they've gone to in the past, they double off of him for Shaq and Penny in the low post when he's in the game.
Rodman and Longley back on the floor now for Chicago. Here's Michael Jordan. Over Shaw, no good. Loose ball, picked up by Rodman. Kerr, quickly to Kukoc for 3. He's 1 for 28 in the playoffs from three-point range. And this is a guy who hit 40% in the regular season.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that Longley and Rodman come in off the bench, and immediately you see an offensive rebound.
Rodman throws Longley down.
Orlando's getting good looks. You got no complaints when your players get good shots like that. They're just not going down for Nick Anderson right now.
Kukoc. The runner. No. Here comes Shaw. Jordan back defensively. Makes a pass at him. Bryan takes it all the way. And Rodman with another board. Kukoc, 1-on-2. Kerr spots up. Kukoc.
Kukoc is struggling offensively. He doesn't look like has the same quickness or lift, Vern, with that bad back.
0 for 5 tonight. Longley forgot O'Neal was down there.
And that's what Longley can't afford to do. They know that Shaq would love to throw those alley-oop passes, particularly Brian Shaw. When Brian Shaw's got the ball, you got to make him catch the ball in the post and make him work for his baskets.
Kukoc, Rodman. They're going to get Anthony Bowie for tangling with Dennis Rodman.
I don't think they're going to call a double foul. They're just trying to tangle up. Both of them inadvertently, well, I don't know if it was inadvertent, but they got tangled up at the other end. But Dennis Rodman is showing he's making them pay, saying, hey, you guys double team up on me, I'm going to hit that shot.
Well, the whistle was blown, and calm and peace was restored.
Yeah, not a bad play by Billy Oakes to just get things resolved. No foul needs to be called.
No basket traveling. Time has been called. The Orlando Magic playing on the road, trying to even the series, enjoy an 8-point lead. Dennis Rodman was a real force in game one, Danny Ainge. 21 rebounds in that game.
And Vern, he has been a force in every game in the playoffs on the offensive glass. He's played so many of these playoff games. We see him getting the easy tip-ins, starting to score as well as hit the offensive boards, but we know what his specialty is. Finding the ball, has great instincts for the ball.
And in the last 6 games, you can see he topped it all with the 21 boards against Orlando, 7 of those on offense.
And he's doing it against pretty good players. Right here, you see him get a great rebound. Just throws Luke Longley out of the way. Says, hey, Luke, these are my boards.
Now, what does it say, though, about the potential demise of civilization as we know it, that his book is #1 on the New York Times bestseller list?
I have no comment on that, Vern.
Oh, dear. Here's Kerr. Longley. Nice cut. Kukoc. Here's Rodman. I keep thinking of Chuck Daly, who's got to be watching this game and smiling. Chuck kept insisting all last year, and of course, he coached Dennis at Detroit. He said he can play offense, he just doesn't want to.
Well, he can finish. He can't shoot the basketball, but he's a pretty good finisher and a very smart basketball player.
Foul underneath. Did they get Kukoc or Longley?
Well, Vern, we can see that when Orlando goes to their bench, immediately they come down and double on Shaq, but Shaq's still strong enough to draw the foul.
Jordan 2 for 8. Leads those who have struggled offensively. And here's O'Neal. How about Dennis Rodman, the leading Chicago scorer in the game? O'Neal 2 for 4. Penny Hardaway back on the floor. And Scottie Pippen's going to come on for Chicago now. Kukoc will rest. So O'Neal, Koncak, Royal, Bowie, and Hardaway for Orlando. Rodman, Longley, Pippen, Kerr, and Jordan for Chicago, and it's a 7-point game.
And the reason Dennis Rodman is leading the team in scoring right now, Vern, is they've got to do a better job of keeping Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen from penetrating. Shaq comes over and tries to block everything. Rodman's wide open for the easy shot.
Bowie's got Jordan. Here's Longley working hard for the shot. It's rejected by O'Neal. Hardaway has it. He's got Bowie left side. Anthony Bowie goes by Kerr. Finds O'Neal. Pippen strips it away. But then Royal gets it back for Orlando.
Time to try to draw a third foul on Luke Longley.
Pippen with a double team. Koncak. Anthony Bowie with a jumper. Got it over Steve Kerr.
Good play right there by Anthony Bowie. Steve Kerr got a piece of the ball. Bowie was still able to finish. But Vern, Koncak catches the ball at the top of the key. When his man leaves the double, he's got to get himself to the rim, get an offensive board, or get a putback.
Are you surprised at how little we've seen of Michael Jordan tonight?
Well, Michael's 2 for 8. He's had some pretty good looks. They're playing great defense on him. Those shots will start falling when they need them.
Longley. 6:50 to go in the half. Koncak, good job defensively on Longley. Rodman with the offensive board is fouled, and he'll go to the line. O'Neal picked up the foul.
Beautiful work by Dennis Rodman again on the offensive glass. Sneaking inside of Shaq. Shaq's not a great box-out guy. He just relies on his size and strength to get the rebounds. Right here, Shaq doesn't pay attention. Dennis slips right in.
Contribution tonight. And Longley's back out to guard him again. Rodman will go to the free throw line. How about this stat? In the second quarter, Dennis Rodman 2 for 2 from the field. The rest of the Bulls team 0 for 8.
That's a shocker, no question about it. Michael Jordan getting a rest right now. He'll come back here in a couple minutes and try to give them a big spurt going into halftime.
I'll give you something ugly. How about a free throw shooting contest, Rodman against O'Neal?
Well, it is ugly. Rodman seems to make him when he needs to, though. He's a better shooter than his stats indicate, in my opinion. He's got better form than Shaq as well.
Contact, a little full court pressure applied now by Chicago. Hardaway picked up by Scottie Pippen. An 8-point lead, largest lead of the game has been 10. And we've got 6.5 to play in the opening quarter. Regular season series won by Chicago. Here's Hardaway, 3 games to 1, the first game of the season between the two. Here's Rodman. And there were some elbows flying in there.
Well, Donald Royal was very upset because Rodman again, for the third time, sprints, follows Ron Harper all the way to the basket, gets the offensive rebound. But that time, Dennis got away with a push. We'll see right here. Ron Harper goes up, misses the shot. You can't see, but you see Donald Royal flying through the air. Very upset, retaliates, and fouls Dennis, making him pay from the free throw line.
Rodman with 9 points and 6 rebounds.
Working very hard, keeping the Chicago Bulls team within range with his energy and effort so far in the first half.
1 and 2. Here comes the full court pressure. Contact picked up by Rodman. Now O'Neal. Here's Anthony Bowie.
With Contact and Shaq on the court, they're very susceptible to the press.
Contact got it, and Bowie wasn't ready for it. 10 on the shot clock. Into O'Neal. Back to Hardaway. Nice penetration by Penny Hardaway for the basket.
Yes, and Scottie Pippen turned his head to give Shaq a little bit of help. Penny did the right thing, slash into the basket.
9-point Orlando lead. Scott will come back for Orlando. Here's Pippen with the soft jumper for 2.
Good execution by Chicago. Just kept moving the ball. Scottie Pippen came free off the pick. Shaq was late helping out.
Pippen has 8. The lead is 7. O'Neal. Jump hook over Longley is good.
See, that was a lot better patience by O'Neal that time. Took his time, got the ball where he wanted to, and shot the nice little 6-foot jump hook.
19 points and 8 of 12 from the field. Anderson's going to come back on the floor for the Magic as well.
They're going to O'Neal a lot in the low post, Vern. It's going to be interesting to see how much stamina he has to be able to carry this team offensively.
Underneath, knocked out of bounds by Shaquille O'Neal.
You see, sometimes Shaq settles for quick shots, but right here he gets where he wants to, pump fakes, realizes that Luke has 2 fouls, and gets a nice little easy jump hook in the lane. Penny makes a good feed down in the low post, does a good job of cutting as Scottie turns his head and allows Hardaway. That's what they didn't do in game 1. They settled to stand on the perimeter.
Shot clock violation for Chicago and an official change in a foul designation. The one that was given to O'Neal has been changed to Contact. So O'Neal has 0 fouls.
Well, Contact must have been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Horace Grant on the bench. Not suited up tonight. May not be available for the weekend in Orlando. Pippen comes with a double, and O'Neal goes baseline. Oh, boy. Technical foul. Called by Billy Oates. Who did he get?
He got Shaquille O'Neal for taunting as he scored the hoop.
That brings Brian Hill and Richie Adubato out on the court. And it puts Steve Kerr at the free throw line right now. He is 18 of 19 in the playoffs so far. My.
Well, right here, Shaq just backs him down. He's abusing Luke Longley right now. Luke's in foul trouble, can't foul Shaq. But Shaq just looks at him and runs down the other end of the court.
That's a technical?
I don't understand it. I don't understand that. Didn't even, just kind of looked at him, didn't even glare at him, didn't say anything to him.
Billy Oates has been in some sensitivity training sessions.
Yeah, I don't understand that. He read something into there that wasn't there.
Too much time in the hot tub. 39-28, 11-point lead. Kukoc. He's now 2 for 29.
Well, that wasn't a three-pointer,
No,
was it?
You're right. 2 on the line.
Well, the other thing is Brian Hill calls a timeout fast because Kukoc is being defended by Konchak. He had a wide-open look out there. He's got to get Konchak out of the game right here. But, oh, Vern, that is terrible. It's a great move. He just looks at him down the court. Doesn't say anything, doesn't glare at him, just looks at him. I don't understand that one at all.
And you played in the league for a few years.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to clean the game up. They're trying to not have any taunting. But if that is defined as taunting, you could call it technical anytime you want in this league.
Did you ever get a technical for a soft, doe-eyed look like that?
I didn't get technicals, Vern.
That and other fabrications will be followed up on in the late news. 4:02 to go in the first half of play. The 22nd timeout taken by Orlando. It'll be Nick Anderson, O'Neal, Scott. Hardaway has it now. Kukoc guards Anderson. Anderson. Orlando's done a good job of protecting the ball tonight. Here's O'Neal over Rodman. Offensive board. Rodman comes out of there, finds Pippen. He pulls up, goes to Kukoc. And the foul is called.
Good play. Right now, so far in this game, Vern, the reason that Magic have this lead right now is Shaq's has been able to dominate, like we talked about early in the game. If he can dominate, Chicago all of a sudden is coming down, double teaming, other things are opening up in the offense.
Nick Anderson gets the foul. That's his second, and Kukoc goes to the line. Well, three-point shooting this year has declined for each of them. Look at Tony Kukoc. That's coming into the game tonight.
Well, what is that percentage? 1 for 27.
4%.
4%.
Quattro. Talk about having to shoot out of the slump.
Yeah, he'll make a couple. Tony's a good outside shooter, but again, you know that back has been bothered, and you can tell by his mannerisms, by the way he's out on the court. I think they should still be able to exploit Tony out on the perimeter.
I'll give you a comparison. Rodman for the season was 3 of 27 three-point range. There's Rodman. Phil Jackson trying to understand the shot.
Well, Phil Jackson's saying there was a ball fake. They cheated on the weak side, went for the ball to go down into Shaq. But when you ball fake, you're allowed to take a step toward the ball. And that's what Phil Jackson's complaining about.
And the second illegal defensive violation leads to the technical. And it's an 8-point game. O'Neal. There's Hardaway guarded by Pippen. 3:12 to go first half. Boy, what a matchup that is, huh? Offensive board.
There's Shaq giving Dennis some of his own medicine. He's using that big body to create the offense. We see again Scottie Pippen making Penny Hardaway work awful hard for that shot, making him catch the ball way outside of the post to get the shots.
Rodman gets it back into the hands of Pippen. Here's Ron Harper. That's for 3. Out of bounds, Chicago ball.
Right here we see we see Anthony Hardaway back him down. Gets a good look, but had to work awful hard for that shot.
MVP trophy to Michael Jordan. How much easier is it to instill the proper attitude throughout the league when your star player embodies it?
He's not only great, but when it comes to leadership and determination and teamwork,
He's the best, so he is a great role model for us.
How many playoff games have you seen?
You know, here tonight I'm going to Utah Friday, Orlando Saturday, but because of Turner Sports, I can watch a lot on TV also.
Well, Michael's been very good for our ratings. How about a contract extension as long as we're here?
Michael's been good for your ratings, and Turner's been great for the NBA. Thanks to everybody, Vern and everybody except Danny.
All right, you're still mad at Danny Ainge. That's right, everybody is. Vern?
Thank you. Danny.
Hey, Craig, ask him how many tickets he's paid for.
Back to play. 2:40 to go in the first half. Here's Jordan. He's 2 for 9, 6 points in 19 minutes tonight.
O'Neal did a good job that time of sealing Rodman off the boards.
Hardaway picked up by Pippen. We've got 2:23 to go in the first half. A 10-point Orlando lead. Hardaway left open. Hands a three.
Good execution. Scottie Pippen took the shortcut on the pick. Penny popped out to the three-point line, got the wide open three.
Largest lead of the game now, 13 points. Jordan.
You didn't think Michael was going to quit shooting just because he was 2 for 9.
There was no question.
He's capable of hitting 9 in a row anytime.
Bushler and Kerr get ready to come back on the floor for Chicago. Kukoc with the double team, and he picks up a cheap foul. The basket will count. Nick Anderson, Koncak, and Scott tonight. Game 1, 2 points between them. Tonight they've got 11.
Yeah, that makes them feel a little bit better there, Vern. They're feeling a little bit better about themselves. They haven't shot the ball great, but they're finding ways to contribute. Everybody is paying their price. Everybody's moving, becoming a lot more active on the offensive end.
O'Neal 3 of 5 from the free throw line tonight. Make it 4 of 6, and he's got 26 points, 16 in this quarter.
And he's dominating. You know, we'll see if Chicago, if Orlando can keep the lead, Chicago will definitely have to make an adjustment and come down on him a lot sooner.
Good defense on Jordan. John Bushler, that's for 2.
Well, good defense on Jordan because it took 3 guys to stop him. He still was able to dish the ball to Bushler for the wide open shot. That's why he's MVP.
1:15 to go in the half. Brian Shaw guarded by Kerr. Scott guarded by Bushler. Dennis Scott gets 2 more.
Well, Dennis took advantage of Bushler. Felt like he could get his shot off anytime he wanted. Dennis Scott, he was averaging 20 points when Shaq was out earlier in the year. Did a lot of posting up on his own. Very capable of scoring down there on the post in certain matchups.
Brian Shaw fouls Michael Jordan. 3 fouls on Shaw.
Well, Dennis Scott uses all that 240 pounds backing Judd Bushler down. Great shooter, as we know, fades away. Very capable low post player.
240?
Well, 244.
244? You sure about your numbers?
I'm sure. I saw Dennis riding a stationary bike. I was kidding him before the game. I said, hey, Dennis, it's too late to get in shape now.
Kenny Smith will join Tim Hardaway and Ernie and Cheryl in the studio of the Reebok Halftime Report. They'll have a preview of the Sonics Jazz Game 3.
You see Dennis Rodman right there, 10.7 boards. He has kept Chicago in this game the entire first half with his energy, offensive boards, and points.
A 12-point Orlando lead, 45 seconds to go before the break. Chicago lost only twice here in the regular season. Only one team has scored more than 100 points on them thus far in the playoffs. And the Magic at 52 as we get to halftime.
Oh, beautiful play by Penny Hardaway. Went right through the Chicago interior defense. Laid it up for the easy 2. Great pick by Shaq.
Hardaway guards Jordan. Anderson comes and gets the steal. Hardaway protects the ball, and we have 17 seconds to go before halftime. And Orlando drubbed here by 38. 38 on Sunday, up by 14 as we get to the break right now. I remember last year when Orlando beat Boston, that one, a foul is called with 0.8 of a second.
Well, not a well-advised foul by Michael right here, but we see again, look at Nick Anderson, Shaq right there, 3 guys ready to pick up Michael. They've really done a good job team defense against Michael in this first half.
And because of the foul, Hardaway is going to go with a free throw opportunity here. Fouled while attempting a 3.
Michael just got a little bit over-aggressive, was doing a great job making Penny work really hard to get something. Just incidentally hit Penny on the 3-point attempt.
Two more.
Penny Hardaway got a couple votes. Had the second most first place votes for that MVP.
Michael Jordan got 1 fourth place vote.
Yeah, that guy his vote should be taken away.
How about Hardaway hitting 1 of 3? We have reached the end of the first half. A big turnaround for the Orlando Magic. Shaquille O'Neal, 26 first half points. The lead is 15 for the Magic. O'Neal.
Orlando was embarrassed on the court Sunday, disappointed at practice on Monday, but a new attitude on Tuesday. And, Coach, you got a 15-point lead. What pleased you most in that first half?
Well, just our attitude coming out. I think that's what it's all about. You know, we were embarrassed, we were challenged, and the big question today was going to be how we were going to respond to it. And I liked our intensity coming out. I like our effort on the boards, and that's where it all starts. Everything happens off of that.
What was your message at halftime?
Let's just stay with what we're doing. It's a simple game. Let's keep it simple, play hard, win the battle of the boards, take care of the basketball, good shot selection, and we can get out of here with a win.
Shaq owns the paint.
He's going to keep going.
Okay, thanks a lot. Let's go back to Vern.
All right, Craig, and a pretty impressive first half for Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, Shaquille O'Neal, he's out to prove that they cannot defend him man for man in the low post. That's why he gave that little look to Luke Longley, Bill Winnington. He is dominating the game so far. But you know what? The great thing about Orlando right now is they have one more field goal attempt than Chicago. I like their aggressiveness. They're taking the shots when they're there. Chicago's a team that's outshot, out field goal attempted their opponents 105 so far in the playoffs. And we're seeing play after play where Shaq is patient down in the low post, getting the position that he wants before he settles for the shot.
Might we expect some tactical changes in how they are defending Shaquille?
Yeah, I got a feeling that depending on how the lead goes, that they are going to come down and get the ball out of Shaq's hands much quicker. Either that or see how much stamina Shaq has and how long he can maintain this dominating performance.
Pippen and Harper join Jordan, Longley, and Rodman. Here's Rodman. Longley. It won't go, but the offensive board is up, and Jordan misses.
Oh, and you can see Dennis Rodman had to expend so much energy to keep that ball alive. He's the one who was responsible for Michael getting that offensive board by his energy and effort on the glass.
Hardaway picked up by Pippen. And Nick Anderson, foul called on Ron Harper.
We saw this in game one where Chicago came out with a great deal of defensive pressure and intensity in the third quarter, took Orlando out of their offense. That time Ron Harper called for being just a little bit too aggressive.
Contact, Scott, Anderson, O'Neal. Longley picks up. O'Neal tries to front him and knocks it out of bounds. Michael Jordan with 3 of 10 in the first half. Very quiet.
Very quiet, and a couple of those shots were pretty spectacular fadeaway jumpers with a hand right in his face. He needs to be a little bit more aggressive. They need to be more conscious of where he's at on offense and try to get him some more looks.
Rodman double teams, now backs away. And illegal defense called against Chicago. That's the second. They'll shoot the technical.
Well, Orlando's fallen into a little bit of a trap right now. Shaq has dominated the game so far, down in the low post, but right now they're getting back to the habit so far in those first 2 possessions of standing around on the perimeter watching Shaq do it. That's the danger they have.
Scott makes the technical. Jordan guarded by Anderson. He was 2 of 6, while Shaw was on him 1 of 5. 2 of 8 from the perimeter. And only 1 post-up where he took the shot.
Well, that's because they're having 3 guys run at him when he's putting the ball on the floor. Those guys, Anderson and Brian Shaw, are getting a lot of credit right now on our statistics sheet of shutting him down. But we've seen Michael put the ball on the floor, and the entire Orlando defense is defending him.
Now, Penny Hardaway will shoot 2. He missed 2 of 3 just before the halftime buzzer. and that one rattled around a few times before falling through. Hardaway gets them both. The crowd very quiet right now.
And Orlando's got to love that. You want to keep the crowd out of the game as much as they can.
Largest lead of the ball game, 18 points. Concac fouls Jordan. That's 3 fouls on Concac, who's playing in place of Horace Grant tonight.